Like, what does like going to the Olympics like mean to you?
I love sports so much growing up. They were so cathartic for me. The way I was able to transform my relationship with rowing and with sports, to have it like morph into this like really long standing goal was like something I wasn't expecting.
Welcome to The Other 3 Years, a show for anyone who has an Olympic-sized dream they want to turn into a reality. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of The Other 3 Years. This week is a very fun episode because I have my doubles partner, Sophia Vitas, on the podcast with me. Obviously, Sophia and I just were named to the 2024 Olympic team together, so it's super exciting, and I just thought it would be a fun time to have Sophia on. Sophia's amazing. She's a 5-time national team member. She started rowing in college, which she talks about, at the University of Wisconsin, like late in college, her junior year. But she did row for 3 years there. And then following that, she went right to the Princeton Training Center, like made her first senior team pretty quickly after that. So she had a very quick rise to the sport. But I mean, I don't know. We talk about it on the podcast. I feel really lucky to get to row with Sophia. It's funny, like when we first rowed together, I don't think either of us thought it would go on as long as it has or turn into like this. But I think it's a good life lesson, and like you never know what's going to happen, and you just got to keep heading down the path because unexpected things are around every corner. But before we get into my and Sophia's conversation, here is an update on what is going on in my training currently. So I'm still in Sarasota, Florida. This week is Olympic trials for a lot of the boat classes. If you are curious about like the Olympic selection for different boats, I would listen to last week's episode with Sarah Hendershot because I feel like we talked about a lot of the different avenues based on boat class, based on if boats are pre-qualified or not. But that's kind of happening. So we are rowing sometimes at weird times or around like when the Olympic trials racing is, or they have practice windows, that kind of thing. So obviously that's high priority for the week. We're just kind of doing our thing, staying on our training plan. The lightweight women's double is still here to train with us. So we're training with them and just trying to have good rows or, good ergs if we're kicked off the water due to wind or scheduling conflicts or whatever. Right now, it's just kind of a lot of training. I'm going to stay in Sarasota through this week and through next week. And then we'll drive up to Princeton and join many other people that are like already in Princeton for kind of our next training block. So hopefully one more week here means that the Northeast is very rowable. It's still like pretty cold, I think, at home and snowing sometimes. So I'm happy to stay here a little bit longer. So now it is time for my conversation with Sophia. I hope that everyone really likes it.
Hello.
Hello.
Sophia. This is so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sophia and I were recently named to the Olympic team. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you too.
So yeah, I thought it would be the perfect time to have her on the podcast. She didn't say no, which is exciting. It's funny, I was telling Michelle today that I get really nervous to ask everyone that I've like asked to be on the podcast, and like no one has said no.
Why do you get nervous?
I don't know. I just don't want to like I would hate for somebody to like say yes, but like not want to do it.
Like feel obligated to
like
do
feel
it?
like, oh, she asked me, so I should do it.
It's an honor.
Okay, Sophia, can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
I'm from Franklin, Wisconsin. I started rowing my junior year of college, third year. I did 5 years. I did a victory lap. And then when I graduated in 2016, I started the training center. Started rowing at the training center full time, and then I've been doing that ever since.
What made you start rowing as a junior in college?
So I had like heard about rowing from my aunt who went to school at Wisconsin like not a long time ago. She'll be really mad if she hears that.
A little while before you did.
Before me. But she was like, oh yeah, like I lived in these dorms right on the lake and we saw rowers all the time.
Oh.
It would be, maybe you should check it out. And I was like, I don't know. So I like knew of it. And then I was like, think this was my first year at Wisconsin. So I had like transferred in my sophomore year. So that sophomore year, I was lifting in one of like the student gyms, and I saw Big Ten championships. They were playing it on the TV. I was shocked. And they were like, the eights were coming down in like the varsity 8 race. And I was like, this looks pretty cool. This is rowing. Like, this is what she was talking about. And then looked into it a little more. And then I was like, 2K tests. They do 2K tests on the erg. Like, I can do that. So, like a week later, I do it on the erg. I pulled 8 minutes.
What?
I was like, hell yeah.
Had you ever erg before?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, my follow-up question was like, when you walked in to be like, hello, I'd like to do rowing, were the coaches just like...
Yeah. One of the girls who was like, you need to stick around was Ann Rauschert, and she was like U23 gold medalist. And I like had no idea who she was, but apparently she was like the best rower on the team at the time, and I was just like oblivious. And she's like, you need to row. And so I was like, I went 8 minutes on my 2K, isn't that great? They're like, yeah, no. But you can stick around.
Good.
I guess so. I was pretty proud of myself after I did it. I was like, that was fast.
Yeah. How fast was your second one?
I actually can't remember. I just remember breaking 6:55 my first year on varsity. It's like my second year rowing.
So you did a whole year of novice rowing.
I did a whole year of novice rowing.
And did they have a whole like novice team at Wisconsin?
Yeah, they had a whole novice team. So I was actually on the same novice walk-on class as Maddie Wanamaker.
Wow. That's pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Whoever that coach is, like, I've coached 2 Olympians.
Yeah.
I taught them how to row.
Yeah, our coach at the time was Nancy LaRoque, and then after Wisconsin, she went on to coach at Dartmouth for a bit. Yeah. So that's kind of where it started, was the gym.
So did you guys win like all of those novice races?
I think we did actually win our Big Ten novice race.
Okay, and then you went like right to the training center, right? After you graduated?
Yeah, I went right to the training center. The spring of my like 5th year, I was like, I could keep doing this. Because at the time, Megan Cook-Carcagno was the coach at Wisco. Mm-hmm. And she was like, you should keep rowing. Like, you can do this. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, maybe. And so I reached out to Laurel at the time, and she was like, can you be here in 3 weeks? And I was like, sure. So that's where I started. And then I like was plopped right in the middle of, I mean, I wasn't in selection for the Rio games, but like I dropped into like the middle of their selection. Watching all of those like women erging, I was like, I don't belong here.
So did you do any like U23 stuff?
No, I actually applied to U23s, and Laurel was like, you're too old by like 8 days because
your senior year or whatever.
Yeah, so like my birthday is December 22nd. Yeah. So if I would have been born like after January 93, I would have been able to compete. But
so that was just like must have been shocking to get into the training center. Yeah, into the training center.
Oh yeah,
and into like
I was like imposter syndrome for like a good 2 years.
And I just imagine that's like your first full year being like a post-Olympic year must have been really weird as well. Well, first, like I'm sure that summer just no one was there.
Yeah, it was a lot of new people, and it was like a lot of people that I'm still really good friends with. It was just like such a good group of women. It was a lot of fun. So being able to like grow into, I guess like mature into sport together was really cool.
So when did you first scull?
I first started sculling when I got cut from when I got cut from sweep in 2018. Yeah, I got cut from the 2018 team and got plopped over to sculling. And then 2019, I was in the quad, and we qualified the quad for Tokyo that year.
Did you like sculling, or was it just like, oh, this makes more sense, or like a combination of the two?
I think it was it was like an interesting challenge for me. I like was kind of in that mindset of just make the best out of every situation. So at the time it was like, okay, if you're putting me on sculling, I'm going to try and be the best sculler I can be. It was like the same mindset that I'd like started to really develop after getting injured repetitively. It was like, okay, if I'm on the bike, I'm just going to be like the best biker, like bike longer than anyone else can. And so that was kind of like brought that mindset to like, okay, throw me a curveball and put me into sculling. I'll just make the best of the situation. So
do you feel like sculling is like not easier on your body, but like do you feel like you've been less injured sculling than sweep rowing?
I don't think so. I mean, I've been injured a lot. I think I've fractured my rib 5 times now. It happened while I was sweeping and sculling.
Mhm.
So I kind of contribute that to like how I learned how to row in college. I rowed like crap in college. So developed a lot of really bad habits, kind of carried over from sweep into scull.
What about rowing the single? Have you always liked rowing the single, or was that a learned enjoyment?
I actually really liked it. I rowed it a little bit in college, and I just thought, like, I have no one else to blame but myself kind of thing. Like, it makes you, it's a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
So I really like that. It was just like direct feedback, just kind of like the erg, but like more intense and more immediate. I think it's just like you learn so much in the single, and you get really fit in the single. To anyone who wants to get fit and be a really good rower, like sit in a single for a long time, and you'll blow by a lot of people.
Do you get some coaching occasionally though?
Yeah. Coaching helps. Coaching definitely helps.
You definitely learn some bad habits rowing in the single. There's people that like race at the Olympics that I don't like rowing in the single, and I feel like are kind of like scared is like not the appropriate term, but it is like sort of scared. And I just feel
scared to row the single.
Scared to row the single.
Yeah.
Because it is just like super, if you're having a bad day, it's just like very obvious.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, we were just talking about an interviewer asking Sophia, how does it feel to make the Olympics? But now I'm going to ask you. I mean, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It hasn't really sunk in yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're still just training, like business as usual, which is how it should be. It is exciting. I don't know. First step is to go to World Cup, really perform at World Cup, and then go from there. So I think I'm just kind of trying to make the most out of training now before thinking about the Olympics.
Yeah. Did you do anything like little to celebrate yourself when you made the team?
I ate an ice cream. I ate an ice cream sandwich in my car by myself.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's pretty hot down here in Florida, so it melted pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Was it good?
It was really good.
That's good.
It was like a key lime pie.
Wow.
Sandwich.
That
like
sounds
the
delicious.
ice cream brand Jenny's.
Oh yeah.
I make ice cream sandwiches.
Oh really?
Yeah. Have you done anything to celebrate?
No.
You should eat an ice cream sandwich.
I should eat an ice cream sandwich in my car. I have all these cookies that my mom gave me. I've eaten one every night, so maybe I've been slowly celebrating. In 2021, I bought my M-Pocker, so hopefully I don't do anything quite that pricey.
Wow.
It was like necessary as well though. So it turned out to be unnecessary because then Yosi came and we got sponsored by Philippi and we from these boats. But I didn't know that at the time. No, that's great. And like your parents and family must just be like so excited.
Yeah, my dad actually like sent me a picture the other day. So in his office he has like a little tack board and he had printed out like the UW like Badger post but it was like on Facebook. So he like printed out the text that was on Facebook plus the post, and now it's like on his tack board in his office. Yeah. So, but no, they're excited. They're all coming to Paris. So it'll be like my parents, my sister, aunt, uncle, cousins.
That's awesome. Everyone that was in Serbia.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So Sophia is from Serbia. Well, her family is from Serbia. There were so many people there. It was amazing.
It was a mob. It was good. It was really cool to have them there. And it was like my first time going to Serbia, my dad's. So it was like, yeah, it was a good experience all around.
Yeah. And then you guys stayed after, right?
Yeah, we stayed for a few days after with a good friend of mine from my hometown. We grew up together. She's also Serbian. Her husband's parents are from Serbia. So we just like did a little tour day, Beograd.
Belgrade was very different than I expected it to be. I don't know. I feel like near the hotel, like where we were, was so different than like old Belgrade.
They're really building up like the waterfront. I forget what it's called, but like they're building this huge mall and they have all these like really new big kafanas like right on the river. So we actually hung out there for a little bit. It's really cool.
Like what does like going to the Olympics like mean to you?
It was I guess the whole sport of rowing is pretty selfish, but it's just like I love sports so much growing up. They were so cathartic for me. The way I was able to transform my relationship with rowing and with sports and to have it become this like have it like morph into this like really long standing goal was like something I wasn't expecting. I'm like really impressed with myself, I guess, if that's okay to say, but like I wasn't really expecting to take it this far. Yeah, sports were just like an outlet for me, and so like when I found rowing, I was just kind of like continued to be that outlet. And then I was like, wait, like I'm really really good at this, like I'll just keep doing it and see if I like still love it, and like I'll stop when I stop having fun. So I kept having fun, kept growing, kept meeting new people, kept learning how to push my limits, and like 8 years later on the elite level, I've been doing this, and it's kind of like finally made an Olympic team, and it's like, holy crap, I didn't think this was ever going to be in the cards for me until like, I don't know, not making the Tokyo team and like being so close to making the Tokyo team. Yeah, I was like, wow, I can really do this. Like, this is really within reach. So
no, I think that makes sense. I mean, I feel like similarly, we're so zoomed in right now.
We're on the tip of the sword.
So it's
like
hard
we don't even
to
realize.
It's hard to like fathom, but when you like zoom out and you're just like, whoa, like I did all of those things. I'm doing it. I'm continuing. Like I have the audacity to have these goals. Like who am I? But then I'm like, of course I have the audacity to have these goals. So it's a weird,
No, it's really cool being able to do it with all like women like you, and like being with the Sweet Women is just it's so cool. I wish I had a better word for it, or like a better way to explain it, but it's like just really cool.
How happy are you that you like kept rowing this quad? Because I just feel like there's been so many changes, and like sculling is like this new high priority. Like, you got to go to Austin. Like you've just gotten to have so many different experiences. Like, did you ever consider stopping after the last quad?
I did after Tokyo. So I got really injured going into the selection for Tokyo. Probably shouldn't have even done selection for Tokyo. Yeah, after that I was just like burnt out, super injured, got a job, started doing that, and I was like, okay, like had a little bit of time to recover and, get back on my feet. And I was like, well, I don't know. I feel like I have some unfinished business with this. So, but I don't want to go back to Princeton. Like, where can I get some coaching? Yeah, I went down to Austin and just had like new change of scenery, new coaching. When I started rowing again in Austin, I was like, okay, I know what it's like to not row, and I know that I'll be okay. Like, I know I have these skills, I can get a job, I can have fun, I know how to be a normal person. Yeah. I appreciate that distinction, but I still have unfinished business.
That's probably very healthy.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes after this year.
Did you think when we rode together in 2021 or 2022?
I've never guessed.
Yeah, I probably would not have guessed either. 2022 was a weird year. Like, I feel like for a number of reasons. Yeah. I guess, like, probably starting last year, like a 1 year ago at this point in time, I was like, oh, okay, this probably makes sense. I also was like, no, there's no way.
I don't know.
Here we are.
Here we are.
What is it like to row with me?
It's very calm.
That's great.
It's very chill.
Except for today when I thought the lightweights were offending us.
Except for today when you thought the lightweights were offending us and you were ready to go to war.
I feel like we're usually on the same wavelength about things. Though,
yeah, I think we're very much so on the same wavelength. We're good at like filtering out distraction and stress. And
I also think it's funny. I feel like we can usually like sense when the other person, like something is kind of like bothering the other person or like whatever. Yeah, totally. And whenever it's me, I think that I'm hiding it so well.
You're not.
And I'm not. But I'm always like think that I am. So it's very funny to me. To be like, is everything okay? And I'm like, how did you know?
No, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. It's just like no drama, which is great. I feel like we're very low drama people.
What like fun thing are you looking forward to about the Olympics?
I just remember in Tokyo, you guys got a lot of pins from a lot of different countries.
Oh yeah, the pin trading.
Yeah, I'm really interested in doing the pin trading and like meeting other athletes from other countries.
Oh, are you? I was like afraid of the pin trading. I didn't really do it. Well,
what were you afraid of?
I don't know. I literally only got like 2 pins.
From where?
Well, one was like from our special ops guy that pretended to be a coach, but was really like special ops, our like security guard. Uh-huh. And then the other one was from it's There's a term for it. Basically, like refugee countries
just
carry like an Olympic rings because they're just racing as sort of like independent nations, like not for. So I had that one because I thought that was just super cool. And like the people that gave it to me were really cool. And literally, I gave some people.
Lame.
I gave some people pins because people really wanted the like American pins. But people got really into it, like because they give you this like lanyard thing that everyone wears like crossbody, which I also it's funny
like
to
a Girl
me.
Scout sash.
Yeah, literally, and it has like your picture on it. And people like the whole lanyard was like covered in pins for people, and like ours were like rowing specific.
Oh, that's cool.
So like America and rowing specific, so you get like another sport or whatever.
What fun thing are you looking forward to? Because I know like you had COVID, so you had a lot of
we didn't do any fun things.
I guess do you really know like what fun things exist outside of COVID quarantine Olympics?
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
we're going in blind.
It's like your first Olympics.
It is. Again. It totally is. Like the way we experienced the Olympics, I'd say was like just like a world championship. Besides the fact that you got to live in the village. It's cool that we raced the first week so we can like go to other events the second week. Like I think that would just be super, super cool. Like and getting to actually talk to other athletes. Like I just feel like everyone was so afraid of everything in Tokyo.
Are you making my answer sound super lame with
with
the pins? I want to collect pins and you're like, I want to go to see sports.
I mean, I also hope that we get Kim Kardashian's Skims clothes again. So, I don't know.
What's a Skims item that you would want?
A bodycon dress with the Olympic rings right here. No, I honestly, so they gave everyone like different stuff and it was all like village wear, whatever, like lounge.
Everyone got something different?
Like different packages. And mine has these like super, super, I would literally describe them as long johns. They're so soft. Like they're unbelievably soft. And the t-shirt is like unbelievably soft. And there's a robe. They gave us a robe.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Well, do you have any questions for me?
What's it like rowing with me?
Oh, it's great. It is. Sophia's like so strong. It's amazing and such a good rower. Literally, everyone keeps telling me she's perfect. I just sometimes when you get sad, or I don't even know if sad is the right word, mad about something, I don't know what it is, and so I'm like, is she mad at me? But you're usually not. It's usually something that happened. Someone waked us or something. Yeah. Do you have any funny stories to end on? I mean, I can tell the story of what actually happened today. Well, also. Another funny story that, I think was funny was last year we did these pieces where we like tested our boats. We went out to like test, like seat race the boats.
Wait, where was this?
It was in Princeton.
That's right.
And we had to do it really late in the morning because there was this triathlon going on.
My God.
So it was like,
I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, literally it was so hot. So we go in like halfway through the workout and they had set up this weird like mist sprinkler at the Princeton boathouse.
Right on the awning.
Yeah, right under the awning. And we're like standing underneath it. And Sophia was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't like go back out there.
I was fried.
And then I remember like, I think Isabel came over and you were just like, I've melted. I was like, uh-oh.
And usually I don't really admit when her workout is like really hard.
No,
like I fold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was hurting.
It was very funny. No, but today it was pretty funny. We were doing side by side, like hard steady state with the lightweights. There's a lot of people here right now for trials, and they're just doing weird things because they're preparing for their race. So they do a lot of like on off and whatever. And basically this one like men's boat, Molly in the other boat said to Michelle, like, there's a bunch of ding dongs in our lane. And then like this men's boat had to get out of their way. And so like when they went by, they were like said ding dongs, like there they are, the ding dongs. And they sort of conversed about it. And in rowing, when you like get to another boat's bow ball, sometimes you like call bow ball, which is like, you're ahead of them because we're going backwards. So it's this like thing. So I thought that they had done that to us. I thought that they had called bow ball on us and I got offended.
We got revved up.
So then I just go, big mistake. and start trying harder. But then they're like, no, we weren't talking to you. Like, whatever. But I've already said it. I've already started down my war path. So then we just all had to try harder for the second 1,000 meters.
That's called rage rowing, folks.
It was rage rowing. And then I was like, I've started down the path. I can't, like, it became clear to me that, like, I had made a mistake. But I couldn't, like, admit that.
Yeah, we're all still friends.
We're all still friends. We laughed about it as soon as we got off the water. Yeah, like I said, when we were off the water, I was like, I don't even know where that came from. Like, it just came out, you know, because you're in the middle of sports. Big mistake. Who am I? All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have you, like, you know, right before. Maybe you can come back right before the Olympics.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to Sophia for coming on. It was super fun to talk to her. I mean, I talk to her all the time, but it was fun to talk to her in this setting, and I hope it was fun for listeners to get a little inside view of our lives every day. To leave you this week, I'm reading this book, The Champion's Mind, which is funny. My friend Katie Flynn is also reading it. And this is kind of an interesting quote. It's more of like a interlude, but it says, "There is an old Cherokee legend known as the Tale of Two Wolves. A grandfather explains to his warrior grandson that there are two wolves within each of us. One wolf is positive and beneficial, while the other is negative and destructive. These two wolves fight for control over us. The grandson is curious and asks which wolf will win. And the grandfather replies, the one you feed." I just thought that was fun. So yeah, have a great week. Thanks for listening. See you next time. I'd love to hear from you, so send us a topic suggestion, or if you'd like to submit a question for our Ask Kristi Anything segment, head to our website, theother3years.com.